Okay. So the plan was maybe to buy a house. I think you told me in Brighton. You're thinking about buying a house in Brighton.
Yeah, just like that Adams 12 school system or something.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think that's what Brighton is. Adams.
Yeah.
What were you thinking about when you called the school that day on Monday?
I was freaking out. I didn't know, like I was thinking in my head, like what I just did, what I just done, and I didn't know, like it was stupid to do anything. Just, I mean, to call the school, to call Ann, to call anybody. I mean, they were right to be, suspicious about anything. Like, 'cause I knew I probably sounded eccentric on the phone and out of sorts, and just, I don't even know what they were thinking. They heard me.
I think they thought I was weird, but I don't know how you would not sound weird, like you said.
So, are you 100% sure the girls were still around and alive when you drove out? Okay. So that's completely accurate. There's nothing else about that.
They got in the truck.
Okay.
Where did the blanket go?
It's probably in the trash can or something, I think.
In the trash?
It wasn't it was still in my truck.
Okay. We thought we saw some GPS where you had stopped by near a construction roll-off dumpster. Is that true, or?
I think that's I dumped my clothes in there.
So that would have been on the way back to the house?
My neighborhood.
Yeah. When Officer Kunab was there? Okay. Was it one of those red construction dumpsters?
More than likely.
Okay.
Did you pack new clothes? How did that work?
I already have some in there because, in case we have a spill or something.
Oh.
If you ever get crude oil on you, you don't. Yeah, I have 2 pairs of boots, all kinds of different stuff in there, just because just one time I had to pick up a spill and I had defrost on, and I had a headache for 2 weeks because the crude oil that comes with that. So I always have something in there.
So where did you keep them after you took them off? Did you just change out there into your new other clothes?
I dumped my clothes in that dumpster.
But wasn't that on the way back? When you were coming? You'd already worked the whole day, right?
I'd worked till 11 or so.
11.
Yeah. So that was back when Nicole Atkinson...
Yeah, when she was at my
called.
house hitting the doorbell, that's when I knew someone was at the house.
Right.
Did you think right then, oh fuck, here we go? Or what were you thinking then?
I didn't even know why she was there. I was I didn't know, maybe she had an appointment or something with Shanann. I didn't know.
What did you think, that day, what you were going to say? What was your plan? Were you just going to go home and be report to the police that your family's gone, or?
I had no idea what was going to happen. After everything, I don't even know how I was even acting even normal to people that I was around. Because when, Troy and Cody and Chad and Melissa and all them, when they showed up on the site, I don't even know how I was even being somewhat even coherent what I was saying, but apparently that understood me. So I didn't know what was going to happen. Like you said, this wasn't something some Criminal Minds type.
Well thought out.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing like that.
It was minute by minute at that point.
Yeah, I had no idea what was going to happen.
So once the girls were gone, was it also just a minute by minute thing as far as the oil tanks?
Yeah, I didn't know what to do. Just thinking about an oil tank just makes me want to throw up.
And was that just because it was in front of you and there it was and just presented itself? It wasn't a plan beforehand? Okay. Was there any reason why the separate ones?
No, it's like you said, it was going up the stairs, and it didn't. No, what Frank said is I was trying to separate everybody. That's not.
No.
I didn't want to separate anybody.
What was the reason?
I I can't even tell you. It was like I said, like something else was in control of what I was doing, and it was like I was doing something I never thought I would ever do in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Did you think there would be less chance of someone finding them if they were in separate tanks, or?
I don't know.
Sounds like he's over there.
Whatever my reasoning was in my head that day, it wasn't sound. Nothing was right.
And you don't even remember thinking about it?
No, it was just like a a reaction of something that I wasn't even thinking about.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the trash bags? Do you remember that?
Oh,
There were two.
Okay. Yes. Trying to, because like the sheet kept, I didn't want to, like when I was putting, there's one coherent, I guess, thing I had, like I didn't want the girls looking at Shanann while they were in the back seat.
Mm.
So what'd you do?
I put a trash bag on one end and on her feet and on her head so they didn't have to see.
Okay. And they were just too little to kind of figure out, right?
Yeah, they didn't know this.
Okay. That's good.
I just know, like, when I was driving up there, I mean, they were just, sitting there just, kind of asleep or kind of just, like, holding on to each other, laying in each other's laps. I didn't.
Do you remember having any thoughts or thinking about why not just putting them all together with Shanann?
Honestly, it was just happening so fast. I had no time to really have a thought that was my own.
Okay.
But I wasn't like dutifully trying to separate anybody, passing away, trying to keep anybody separate. And everything, Frank, Sandy, and Frankie said, I don't hold it against them. I mean, they can hate me they have a right to hate me for the rest of their lives.
They don't hate
They
you.
don't. In fact, while we're on the subject, I speak with them weekly, and I told them that we were going to come here and then hopefully would speak with us. And they told me to tell you, understandably, they're devastated. But they actually said that they love you. They still love you. And Sandy explained it. He's our son-in-law for 8 years. I can't just turn that off. So they don't hate you. They don't.
That's amazing to hear that.
Yeah. Well, and I can tell you, Sandy was the one that was most resistant to penalties in this case, and she said that. She told me that from the very beginning. That she didn't want that. It's God's decision. It's not her decision. And then she told me that even then. So it's not just a one-time thing that she has said it to me. It's been over the whole course of the event. So that's probably one of the most honest things someone's ever told me. So it's pretty amazing. Faith is. She's obviously a believer. So am I. I get it. So I understand it.
That's amazing to even hear that.
Yeah. Good people.
I would have figured they would have hated me for.
They don't. I mean, anybody would think that. I certainly would have, but I have to admit I was surprised, really taken back by that. But they certainly don't.
What did they say when they knew you were coming out here?
They said they want to know, details because they need closure. And that's really all they want, and they want to keep it private. And I said, well, absolutely. We'll talk to them about what you told us, and just so they can put it past them, because they're having a hard time dealing with it and trying to get past it all. And I think that may help, just to know.
Closures, I mean, my parents still think, I told them I pled guilty for a reason.
Right.
Right.
And, I told it to them when they had that video phone thing in Colorado the day before, I pled guilty. I plead guilty for a reason. I didn't just, I knew other people were watching. So I didn't just go in and like just say anything. Like they seemed to take it. Like, okay.
What made you do that, Chris? What made you plead guilty?
I didn't want anybody else to. I didn't want them to go through this for 2 or 4 years. I didn't want my attorneys to lie for me for 2 to 4 years. Like they would have done anything I told them to do.
Sure.
That's what they're. I don't see how they can do that. And like that's what attorneys do. Like they take their defendant and they say, hey, like, what happened? Okay, we'll go with that story. Like I told them everything I just told you guys, and it's just like. They got together like, well, if they ever offered a plea deal, would you ever want to like just plead guilty to them? Like, yeah, I mean, if we can end this, end it. Like I was like in September, I told them that.
Really?
Yeah, but it was way too early, and prosecution was still doing their investigating, still grabbing evidence and all kinds of stuff, and that wasn't even really on the table. So I think it was like around Halloween. I think that's when the prosecution went to Frank and Sandy and Frankie's house and it's talking like, if we can end this, would you be open to that? And that's when like the whole death penalty and everything, all that conversation happened. And I guess they were surprised that it would just be over.
Yeah.
And
we were all in shock. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that was like.
It's like we were going 100 miles an hour, and then we just hit a brick wall. Like, that's what it felt like to all of us. So, I mean, obviously you had more time to contemplate it than us.
I told John and Kate and Sophia and everybody, Amy, okay, if we can just stop this, and like, I know it's, everybody's telling me to fight this, there's no, like, everybody's saying there's like not enough evidence to such this and that, and I'm just like, no, this needs to end. Like, I don't want people to have to, because for Frank and everybody to have to fly back to Colorado every single time and get reminded of this, like, I'm not sure it's never going to go away, but to actually have to come and talk about it, have other people talk about it, have, all three of you get on the witness stand and say, what they saw, what they've seen, what they heard on tapes and everything like that. It's just like, I don't want people to relive that over and over and over again for years. Like, if I could just end this for everybody, and then like, if there's any closure at all, they could start then instead of like 2022.
Right.
And everything just like, so I know it'd only get worse for everybody.
So did it have anything to do with you not having the death penalty?
No, honestly, when I was sitting in that cell, I felt like I should die. I was listening to everybody telling me like, hey, if you do this and this, you can hang yourself in that cell. You could do this and that.
They were like telling you stuff.
Yeah, you could drown yourself in the toilet if you wanted to fill your toilet bowl up or something like that. It was. They've been there a bunch of times, and I was at one point I was listening to them. Mm-hmm. I was just like, I just felt like maybe there's a different purpose for me somewhere. Maybe it's here. I don't know. Like, I prayed to God every day that He would move me away from Colorado, like move me away from like the DOC there, because I just knew, like, they were saying there was a hit on me. They said if I was going to a DOC in Colorado, like, I'd last a week and I'd be dead, because of like the gangs and all that kind of stuff. And so like, I just felt like God moved me here for a reason, and I'll, hopefully I can help people that way. But like, I didn't want my family, I didn't want Shanann's family, all of our friends, like, having to go through that, because after a while I knew it was like, this stuff was everywhere. And I knew like all her Thrive friends, everybody, that was just like, it would just broke that hole in their heart just a little bit bigger every time. I didn't want that. I knew it would have gotten worse. I didn't want it to get any worse than it already was.
Did you ever think about, well, it could be very believable, what I told them, it could be very believable that Shanann did, end the girls. And so maybe if I tried to convince people that, maybe if I fought with my attorneys on that, maybe I could lessen it somehow. Did you ever think about that?
Honestly, I never even thought about the story until you guys mentioned it.
Yeah? Okay.
I wondered.
I never even thought about it till you guys mentioned it.
So what did you think about it once it got mentioned?
It's just like I just went with it. I didn't I knew my dad was out there. I knew it was I knew they would probably believe it because, my mom and my sister just never really liked Shanann. I knew it through all this, I got letters from some of my friends that even said, when we went over to your house, we could see, Shanann was more of a dominant personality and more of you're always helping with the kids and everything. And just, you're a great dad and everything. We could see, a couple things that I never saw or, whatnot. And even my best friend Mark even said, there's always, something, I didn't really get it with Shanann. I was like, nobody ever told me any of this stuff, but okay. But yeah, I never thought about that story. And, that's what my attorneys were going with.
Yeah.
And then, I think it was probably the second week I told them, what had really happened.
What did they say after that?
They were quiet. They were writing it down. They said they wouldn't judge me. So I told them. I told them everything that happened. And they, appreciated, I guess, most of the time, their defendant or their, defense don't, tell them actually what happened.
No. Yeah.
They just, tell them, all right, get me out of here. This is what happened. But I told them what happened. I didn't want them going, if this was going to go, anywhere in courts, I didn't want them to be under a false pretense and, get surprised. So I know, there was probably things that you guys probably knew that, if I lied to them and just tell them, no, this is what happened, that it would have, made them look, foolish and stupid and just, unprepared. And I was like, this is what happened. And they appreciated me telling them that. So now they would be prepared. And that's when they were saying, if it was ever, if we ever went to them, the prosecution, and say, hey, if we could end this, would I be open to it? I'm like, if it could end, send it.
I know there was wasn't her phone found on the couch or between the couch cushions? Did you plant all that
I
stuff?
just threw it in there.
You just threw it in there? Why did you do that?
I don't know what was going on that morning. Her watch, her phone, if I was actually, if I'd planned this, I would probably just take it out to the field or something, Mm-hmm.
What about her ring and stuff? What were you thinking about that?
It's maybe she actually really wanted a divorce. Maybe she didn't want to fix it. Just put it there on the counter.
She took it off? Or did you take it off?
I took it off.
Okay. Oh, so that would look like she was saying, I want a divorce, I'm leaving it here when I'm taken off. I see.
So the phone and her watch and the couch, was that morning before you left to go to service? Okay.
That's, I think, Nicole's son found it or something.
Yeah.
What other things did you do that maybe we even missed?
So I had the phone and the watch. Yeah. I think I threw the therapy book she wanted me to read in the trash.
That was that morning?
I think so.
Were you trying to make it look like she threw it in the trash?
I don't know. I just I just didn't think nothing was ever going to work again. So I didn't know what was going on.
Did you go down to the basement? I thought the basement door opened.
Yeah, the door is open, but yeah. So there was a lot of movement. I think it was around 4:26 or something. And the garage door opening, the basement door opening, and then of course the living room sensors and all. Do you remember what you were doing all during that time? Other than
you had a lot of
going out
steps.
the garage?
I'll just say that.
Okay. So the basement, I'm not sure. The only thing I really have down there is my workout, the bench press and whatnot.
Do you remember going down there for anything or opening that door for anything? Did you think about, well, maybe I'll take her out that way, or is it a walkout basement?
No.
It wasn't at your house. Okay.
No, it's like a garden level basement. So
Okay.
But now I don't remember really. I don't think I worked out that morning.
Were you packing your lunch in the kitchen? Did you have to do all that normal stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I packed my lunch and everything. Did all that. I don't remember about the basement. Unless I just worked out that morning, I just don't remember. I don't think I did.
So one of the more...
Unless there was a trash bag down there, then
Yeah, you got trash bags from there.
Maybe there wasn't any in the garage, and I went down there and got one.
Do you normally carry a roll of trash bags in your truck?
No.
So there was a roll in your truck.
There was?
Yeah.
Maybe I just grabbed it and brought it with me then.
That would have been kept in the basement, maybe? Or
Basement or the garage.
or the garage. I'm sorry, what were you saying, Graham?
One of the more kind of poignant or tender moments in all of this was seeing you with your dad when he came in. What was it like when you picked him up at the airport?
It was very strange. It was kind of like I almost knew this was probably the last time I'd ever see him on the outside. In my head, I knew that.
Yeah. What'd you guys talk about?
Honestly, like, he just wanted to talk about sports. He's always kind of like, distance himself from like a problem type thing. Like, when, like, if there was ever an issue or anything like that, he always want to talk about, like, just bring up, like, when I would try to get him to quit smoking, like, all the time. Like, that's after, like, I graduated high school and whatnot. He would...
Are you talking about cigarettes?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he would always, like, just change stuff. He'd be like, oh, you never happened in the race? Football? Just something. I mean, he just never wanted, like, he said, okay, yeah, I'll get to it. And he just, boom, something else. And, I just kind of felt like it was kind of like that. Like, he asked like, a few questions, like, do you know where they're at? And do you think, you know where they're at or anything like that? And I just, told him no. And then, like, just want to talk about sports and just, like, normal things. And just kind of, I'm not sure if he maybe knew anything, maybe he kind of figured out something maybe happened and just wanted to talk to me as his son.
Is it possible he saw that you were in a stressful situation and wanted to do what he always did, make things comfortable?
I think that was a good way to put it.
I bet you picked up a lot of that from him.
Yeah, because in stressful situations, like, the gray hair didn't show it, but, like, I try not to be in stress. But, it's, like, I worked on cars, there was a lot of stress, because it's always, it's on commission. You get paid what you can do, not by showing up. So, with Anadarko was a little less stressful, because, I got paid just to be there. But,
Was your dad's marriage like yours and Shanann's marriage, as far as, like, your dad was the more passive one and your mom was the more
my mom
dominant?
was always the more aggressive one.
Was she like Shanann in a way? Were you attracted to Shanann because she was kind of like how your mom and dad's relationship was, or?
It was like, it almost mirrored, like, her mom and dad's relationship, honestly, because her dad's like my dad. Because they're both, like, kind of calm and cool. Like that.
I could see that, yeah.
And her mom is very...
Sandy rules that roost.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Very. And it's just like, I kind of related it to that. Because, like, her mom always said, like, she always told Shanann that she would marry somebody that was kind of like her dad. And I felt like I was kind of like her dad. I wasn't like, I couldn't build a lot of things he could, but, our personalities were kind of like, I was always, I think he really liked me the first time he met me because, like, I was helping Shanann with this. She had got this car from the dealership that she worked at, and she was driving around and felt like, the wheel was about to fall off. And I pulled over where her dad was, and I got her knee jacked it up, and I was like, trying to fix everything. He said, like, any other guy she'd ever dated would have just, like, stood by and watched me do it. And so I think that's when he really, like, kind of like me.
Took to you.
It was just like I was always wanting to help people, not to hurt anybody.
Well, and you helped her all through her lupus, and you're at the colonoscopy, and you're jacking up the car. And
I did. Anytime she had an issue with, like, car at the Dirty South Customs, like, I would just go out to work, see what I could do with it. I would just do whatever I could to help.
Yeah. Well, and I think one of the reasons Frank and Sandy work so well is because Frank let Sandy be Sandy.
Yeah.
And they probably both saw in you that you let Shanann be Shanann.
Yeah, I just, like, I didn't try to change her.
Right.
Like, I just let her be, who she is.
Yeah.
She's like, she's gung ho. She's, she knows what she wants. She's gonna go get it.
Yeah.
And I didn't say, hey, you can't do that. And that's what her first husband did.
Yeah.
He controlled everything. He tried to be Sandy, and it didn't work. And she turned into almost like me. She was like, she just kind of like played back and just kind of like let him do what he was doing. And then I think she learned after that she could just be herself. And then with me, she could definitely be herself.
Yeah.
So that's how it worked.
So do you think your dad had any inkling? Because I'm trying to remember the timing. He showed up when you were still walking around. You weren't in any trouble yet when Ronnie came in.
Yeah, I had met with Dude the night before, like 3 or 4 hours. And then I was at Nick and Amanda's house.
Okay.
Amanda there, and that's when I went to go pick him up.
Okay. And when you picked him up, it was early that morning, right?
He was like 10:30, I think, when his flight came in.
Okay. And then so from there, you guys probably drove home and then to the police station.
Yep.
And the talks there were no type of confession from you. Okay.
No, it was like, he was just gonna wait.
Okay.
I told him, like, if you're hungry, there's like that barbecue joint down the street, and like, it's good. And just, he told me he never left.
He didn't. I wasn't lying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was faithful. He was.
Yeah, I don't know how he lasted that long without food.
We ended up giving him food.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was great. And the reason I ask is because when I look back and watch that video, now knowing what I know after talking to you today, I can see how genuine he was. But I just didn't know if you guys had come up with some sort of plan. Okay.
No, we never talked about anything like that.
Yeah.
If I had told him anything, he would have probably just told me to just tell him right away.
I think you're right.
Like, he would have still loved me either way, but he would have told me you need to tell him, like, right now.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to be there for 14 or however long it was, like 10 hours, however long I was there that day.
You were there a long time.
Yeah, but it was, he would have told me just to say, just to tell you.
Yeah.
Did you know walking in there that you were going to tell us? Or did you think...
I knew there was a reason you brought me back in. I know, well, for the,
What'd you think about the polygraph?
that was horrible.
Why did you say that?
I don't know how you do that.
Why do you say that?
Because Tammy's a torturer.
I am not.
No, like,
Tell me.
You answered, you asked me questions for like 3 or 4 hours beforehand, and then you do the polygraph, and it's like you just break down somebody's brain to where, like,
Too
it's
much
like,
or
too
what?
much. Jello, and it's just like, I know it's you guys have a job and you have a plan, and that's what you executed it.
She's thorough, right? There's just no way to get out of there without the truth.
No, I kind of knew, like, because right when he asked me about, like, Saturday night, when I told you about the walking in, I was like, man, she was like going through her head. I was like, fucking lie.
Well, we did know, we found out about Nikki right before the polygraph.
I figured that out after with meeting with John and everybody that she had met with somebody from the CBI, like on the 14th or the 15th. I was just like, wait, they were talking. Oh, okay. So you already knew. So,
I didn't know how extensive it was, but yes, we knew.
Yeah, walking in there that day, just walking into that room, I knew I wasn't walking out.
Yeah.
Just the feeling I had walking in that room.
Yeah.
Just seeing all, I don't remember if the polygraph stuff was already in there. I think it was.
It was, yeah.
But it was, I knew it.
I just feel like sometimes when people, do the bad thing and they stay, like, some part of me thinks, well, I think they're here because they really want to tell us what happened. Because it's not normal that you want to keep all that in. Like, that just kills people on the inside, and I could tell it was killing you that day.
Yeah, it was just like that. The 13th, when I slept in the house, it did nothing. I don't think I slept maybe like 2 hours because I just finally just got so tired I just fell asleep. I had every light on. Nothing felt right.
What were you thinking about during your media interviews?
I didn't want to do it.
Why did you do it? Did you feel like you had to do it?
I felt like, they would have just kept knocking on my door.
Yeah.
Until I answered it. And, like, I didn't even set it up, but, Nicole Atkinson set it up. She told me, hey, Fox is
the one who set it up?
She said Fox is going to be at your house at 10:30. I'm like, what? Like, okay. And, you know, I think I even called you about it, like, what do you recommend that I do? And he's like, it's kind of up to you.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And I called one of her friends, you know, what should I do? And she said, I probably wouldn't do it, but I just felt like, you know, I don't even want to know what I didn't even set it up there because Nicole Atkinson set it up. Some people said it's only hey, Fox.
Is she the one who set it up?
She said Fox is at your house at 10:30. Like what?
It didn't look good. I mean, obviously we can't say, oh, we knew right then he was lying, but I think we all watched it together and went, this might be bad.
Yeah, I mean,
I had that feeling after I watched it. So I could kind of see it in your face.
it's like I was just lying to more and more people, and it was just like
Do you have internet access here? No. Say don't get into that trap that everybody's in. Just watching
What
all
trap?
that.
Oh.
The social media trap and all that. It's
no, they
just
don't.
ridiculous.
They don't let you have social media here. Like, I think some of the GP guys are getting like these little like tablets or something that are like, you know, the size of like a older iPhone or something. But I think they can use like email, but I'm not sure about like social media. No, definitely no social media, but like I'm not sure about internet or not. But this place is kind of like, you know, a dead zone pie for phones, anyways. I would think.
I don't know, we're getting service, which is weird.
Yeah.
I didn't think we would.
At least right here.
Yeah, right in this room.
Maybe this is kind of like a hub of
Yeah.
computers.
Yeah, that's
This
true.
is the spot.
Yeah. Computer room, you would hope they'd have some.
Did you talk to Nikki afterwards? After all this happened?
On the 13th. 13th and the 14th.
What was that conversation like?
It was the 13th. It was kind of like, you know, it was more text and then maybe a phone call, like a phone call. And then she thought maybe Shanann like took off with the kids. Like just, you know, because I was telling her I didn't know where they were and all that. And then the 14th, she kind of like, I think she kind of thought something may have happened because they hadn't come back.
Why do you say that she might have thought that?
Her, you know, she kept asking me like some weird questions. Like she kept asking like questions that only I would know, but she was testing to see if like it was actually me on the phone. Like,
What do you mean?
Like she would ask like, you know, like what's my dog's name, or like what do I like, what yoga studio do I go to, or something like that. I'm just like, like I just answer like I'm, and then like another thing, like, I'm not sure if this is you. I'm just like, okay.
Is this through text or is this through calls?
Text.
Oh, okay. So she wasn't hearing your voice. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it possible she thought you'd been arrested and we were on the phone?
One, either Shanann had my phone or somebody else had my phone, or
Right.
like maybe, you know, maybe she thought it was.
Well, hopefully Shanann would know all the answers to those questions, right?
No. This is Nikki asking me.
Yeah, but if she's asking you your name of your dog and what yoga studio and
Yeah.
like wouldn't
Well,
Shanann know
she
that?
maybe she thought, you know, maybe I was with Shanann. That she was just trying to find out who she was. But yeah, like some of the conversation, like on the 14th, got a little weird. I think that's when she met with CBI or something, or FBI. I'm not sure who she met with first.
So she talked to you after she met with?
No.
Oh, she
that
did.
was like she had told me like, this is the last time you'll probably hear from me. I'm going to stay at my friend Jim's place while this is all going on. She said not to contact her until this is done. She told me to delete everything, and I didn't delete everything. I just okay. I'm not sure why I didn't delete everything, but probably helped you guys out a little bit. But
She told you to delete everything?
delete all conversations.
Did she tell you why?
She just said delete it. Which I don't think you can ever delete a text message.
We're pretty good at getting deleted text messages.
Did when your dad came in, one of the first things you guys talked about, he said, you know, kind of quietly, I cheated on her, I cheated on Shanann or something. Your dad didn't know until that time?
No, they had, when I was in North Carolina on August 6th, when I spent most of the day with my parents and my sister and everybody, you know, they had, I had told them like something like, you know, this, I don't think this is going to work, like, or with what happened with the nuts and everything, and they're not being able to see the kids, you're like, this is the first time they had talked to me, and pretty much.
Oh, because you went 3 weeks or something, right?
Yeah, because Shannon told me to call him while I was at the beach just to smooth everything out, because she was like, all right, whatever's going on in your head, you need to fix this. But she didn't want the kids to see him. She didn't want to see him. And then, like, when I did see him when I was sick, it was after I went and saw my grandmother. She's in a nursing home. And she still wouldn't go see my parents or anybody with the kids. So I just told her to leave me there, and my dad would come pick me up, and spent the whole day there. I just they were they said they want to see the kids. They just don't know if they could ever just forgive Shan for everything that happened that day. I guess I'm not sure everything that was said that day when they had that argument, but apparently it was like a knockdown, drag out, bomb that went off in there.
Pretty hurtful things.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. And they just don't know if they could ever forgive her or not. And I just I never told them about cheating on her. They even asked me, is there somebody else?
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
So they could kind of sense maybe something's going on.
Yeah, because Nikki was texting me the entire time I was over there.
Oh.
They could kind of see I was texting somebody, but it was maybe they kind of knew. Even when I was in San Diego talking to my friend Mark, I told him about Nikki, but I didn't tell him I was going to meet up with her.
Okay.
I told him that I was trying to I should have just told him right then. Maybe that would have helped me. I know maybe he had an instance where there was some girl coming after him, and she was engaged, and he ended up getting with her, and then they were together, and then she cheated on him.
Is this before he was married or during?
It was after.
Okay.
But he could have helped me, but I just I never told him the whole thing. That it was a lot further along than I wanted it to be.
That's interesting to think about, right? Because your dad could have given me some good advice.
Yeah, everybody. Now this is my friend Mark.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah. When I was in San Diego.
Oh, I gotcha.
So you think you told Mark about that and hoping that he maybe question you about it, or?
Well, I was because Mark, my best friend. I grew up with him since I was 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
So he had been married before, and it didn't work out. I guess they were stationed together or something over in Korea, and I should have just kind of just came out with the whole story. I just told him there was this girl at work that I've been talking to, but I'm just distancing myself from her.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
I was just letting it exponentially get worse.
Right.
And if I had told him hey,
Yeah.
he would have been whoa, man, all right, take a step back and look.
Yeah. Right.
And don't fall into that trap, being you're going to be alone for 5 weeks.
Right.
And there's times I wish maybe Shanann didn't have to go away for 5 weeks. Maybe we all just went for 1 week.
Yeah.
Nothing would have ever happened.
Yeah.
It's only 5 weeks alone. That's the only reason really that was almost even allowed to happen.
There are quite a few people who would tell us, and who do tell us, you need to look into Nikki more, Nikki Kissinger. All the way from the extreme end of things being Nikki's the one who ordered the hit.
She was there. I'm in the basement.
She was there. So the extreme is she's the one who told Chris to do it. She's the real problem. All the way, that's the extreme side, and then all the way to, well, there were these texts where she was infatuated, she was in love, she was saying how good Chris was in the sack, and maybe we should look at her more. What would you say to those people?
She had her moments where I had to talk her off a ledge kind of deal.
What does that mean?
It's I guess after the fact, there was videos of her that she was recording herself because she was bipolar or something. I never do that, but it's and she would get worked up about nothing. She would just she came to my house once because I think it was July 4th. I didn't have to work that day, so I didn't get up at 4 o'clock and go home. Mm-hmm. And Shanann called me 10 times in a row, and I didn't hear it because I was sleeping. I was just and she was pissed. Shanann was pissed. And like I called her on outside, like, where are you at? Like, what? I was like, I didn't have to work today. It's like you called me at like 5:30. It's like, well, kids want to talk to you at 7:30. I'm like I was sleeping. She's like, and she just like, screw you, like like I don't know where you're at. And I went back inside. Something like I gotta go. And she was just like, okay, are you coming back? I'm like, probably not.
So wait a minute, you kind of lost me there. Were you at Nikki's place when Shanann called you?
Yeah.
Okay, and so you were sleeping in her bed.
Yeah, because I wasn't going to work that day because I didn't have to that day.
Okay.
The first holiday I ever had off, and Shanann was pissed, and kind of pissed Nikki off too that I left. But I think that's when I called Nikki later, and she was like, she kind of realized that she'd always be like the second. She said second fiddle.
Sure.
And because that's how I probably would come back that day. Just I don't want to be anywhere else when Shanann calls. She was already pissed, so it was stuff like that where she would she would go. She said she would go on like websites and look at like, will a relationship work with somebody? Like, will a mistress work? Will a mistress turn into a relationship?
That's what Nikki was looking at?
Yeah.
She would tell you that, or you
She
heard
told
that?
me that.
Okay.
Yeah, she said that she would go on websites and look at stuff like that. I was like, why do you even look at stuff like that? She's like, I just want to see what other people have experienced.
But so that confuses me though, because I thought earlier you were saying she thought you were heading toward a divorce. So why was she looking at herself as a mistress?
This was later on.
Oh.
In August, the first week of August, when I told her I had that talk with her about separation. That's when she started looking at apartments and stuff. But during our July relationship type thing there.
Oh, I see.
That's when she was looking up will it actually work?
Okay.
She told her friend Brittany about it, I guess, and Brittany told her not to do it, but she said she'd already made her decision.
Okay. And so, are those people absolutely wrong about Nikki? She wasn't asking you to get rid of your family?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. And no part of any of this was because she put it in your head or asked you to, or
No, she never. I mean, this whole relationship contributed to it.
Sure.
But she didn't want me to.
I mean, was it ever like, I wish you didn't have kids, I want to have, kids of my own with you, like...
She never knew if she wanted to have kids, but she said that, at one point she said, I'd like to give you a son.
Did she know that Shanann was pregnant with a boy?
No.
Did she know Shanann was pregnant?
No.
And why is that? You just didn't tell her?
I didn't know. Because we had met.
But Shanann put that on Facebook.
That's
how did she not see that?
I don't know. Maybe she did, and she just didn't wait for me to tell her, or she put it out of her head.
Can I ask you a question? A lot of people think you named Nico after Nikki. So what was that about?
Nico was actually a name that Shanann liked.
Okay. Shanann thought of that one?
Yeah, I wanted to spell it like N-E-K-O. I thought it was like Nico that way. Mm-hmm. But she said N-I-C-O. And I thought it was sounded like Nico or something.
Okay.
I guess Nico is more of like an Italian name.
Italian, yeah.
So, and she did leave for, my middle name and my dad's and all that. But Nico is that's a name that she always liked.
Okay.
Did she name all the kids? Did she name Bella and Celeste?
Yeah, Bella, because Italian means beautiful. Marie, mom's middle name. Celeste is her grandmother's name. Catherine's Shannon's middle name.
Did you have any input in their names?
I liked them. I was like, if we had a third child, I was gonna, maybe we could have Lee in the middle name, but I knew the girls' names. It was, I love those names, so I was like, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the, you have little nicknames for them, like Belle and Belladine and Cece, obviously. So it was good, but yeah, Nico was, it was
okay.
Can we go back to the house on the 13th? So, at one point, right when you got back there, Coonrod was there, Officer Coonrod, and Nicole was there. Mm-hmm. And then you went in the house and you were for about a minute or so before you let everybody in. Do you remember what you were doing in there at that time?
So I went into the garage.
Right.
And then I ran around and I opened the front door.
Yeah.
Opened the front door did everybody come in through the garage or the front door?
Everybody comes through the front door.
Yeah, so I went in through there. I came in, opened the front door, and I ran upstairs. I just was like I was looking around.
Okay. That's after everybody? Did you go around the house at all before you opened the front door? No,
I didn't run around the house. I stayed down on the bottom, on the bottom floor, and then went and opened the door.
Yeah. Okay. Just curious.
And I ran upstairs and everybody else, and that's when Nicole's son was on the phone, and I was acting like I was walking through the house.
Yeah.
Shanann had her bra on. Was that normal that she would sleep in her bra?
Every once in a while. I mean, she just got home from the plane, so she didn't even take off her makeup or anything. Maybe she was just that tired. But normally, I don't know.
Did it not come off when you guys had sex?
I don't think so. Sometimes she just, she keeps her shirt on and she doesn't want me to do anything. Just like, she wants what she wants. She knew what she wanted. That's what she wanted.
Was it just missionary sex?
Yep.
And when her final resting place, was that just naturally what she was wearing? You didn't change her or anything like that? Okay.
Did you have to see any of that stuff? Pictures or anything? No.
I asked not to.
Okay.
They said I could. I was like, no, I don't want. I've prayed for those hazmat workers. That I'm sure it was hazmat, right? That had the.
You were part of it.
Yeah. And like,
We were all there.
We were all there.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I never wanted to see it. I just prayed for that. I'd rather have to be there. I never wanted to know what the aftermath was. And they said, like, if this ever got like a preliminary hearing, that I would have to see them just to be prepared and not have a reaction, an initial reaction. But I was like, I don't want to see him.
Do you feel like your lawyers were fair to you? Yeah.
Yeah, they were my only human contact, really.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like, almost like a guidance counselor, almost.
Yeah. Did you feel like you were driving the bus, though? With your decisions you made?
Yeah,
or no?
I was like, there was a lot of things I didn't really know what was going on behind the scenes. Like,
Sure.
Maybe there was a lot of things they never told me. Like, like stuff that came out, like, afterwards. Like, the whole Nikki Kessinger article in the Denver Post and all that kind of stuff. They told me, like, afterwards and everything. But it was... I always felt like anything I was telling them, they were going to do. Like, the whole taking the plea deal and everything, I told them that's what I wanted to do. And they asked me, like, seems like 100 times, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure? Like, once you sign this, like, I guess, like, up until sentencing, I had the time to, like, back out. But, like, they always, even before we walked in the courtroom, like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, this is it. Like, okay. They never told me this is what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
They always just said, this is your decision, like, if you want to take this farther, and John said he was right. He had all kinds of motions written and all kinds of stuff that were, like, really creative, and because he'd never been in something like this before, and he was ready to fight. And I was just like, I didn't want you to have to do that. Not for me, not for something that the story isn't true.
Yeah.
Because it would just only gotten worse.
Right.
For everybody. For all three of you, for everybody that was involved in it.
Are you still glad you did?
Yeah, I mean, I never thought I'd be in prison the rest of my life, but, like, I don't want people to have to keep going through this every day of their lives, knowing that, there's a trial hanging over their head, or, I mean, if it ever got that far, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, like, I didn't want people to have to relive it every day.
Yeah.
Did they have to ever see the pictures?
Say that again?
Did they have to ever see the pictures? Frank and Sandy and all that?
No, they never saw it.
They saw some things.
They didn't see anything of that.
Okay.
Yeah, we shielded that from them.
that's one, like, I just didn't want them to have to see anything or hear anybody talk about anything or any part of it. Or, like, you know, anybody bash their daughter, you know? Like, anybody to ruin, like, you know, to hear what, you know, some of my friends had a negative, you know, impact on her, from her, or, like, had a description of her that didn't match, you know, something like that. I didn't want them to hear that either. Like, I didn't want them, like, you know, anybody had to trash her memory. Like, I wanted, like, them to know, like, she's a loving wife, she's beautiful, she always helped everybody else, all her friends, her Lucas friends, everybody. I just wanted, I didn't want anybody to take away from what she did.
We tried to get you to say that night, I know. But do you remember that?
I remember. I was just like,
I know you obviously weren't ready to say that then.
I know. It's like, you know, like after my dad left, we both came in like, all right, we got most of the story. Let's get to the true story. I'm just like, I just wanted to bang my head against the table.
But in the end, I think you did the right thing. And even though it's hard to hear, there's a lot of people who thank you for what you did. You know, I think your whole life has been thinking of others, except for one brief moment. You know, I think you really did think of others when you made that choice. So I personally thank you, right? Because it would have been hard for the three of us to go through about this hard, and for everyone else about that hard, right?
Yeah, it was anybody that was family or friends,
right?
It would have been, you know, just exponentially harder for everybody.
Yeah. I think you did the right thing.
So you haven't told your parents what happened? You just told them I'm pleading guilty for a reason?
Yeah, I've told them, like, on the phone, even, because they're still, I don't know.
You should fight it. You should get...
They've got letters from, like, Australia, from England, I mean, of, like, the 35C in Colorado and stuff, like, you know, improper counsel or something like that. Ineffective counsel. And, I mean, some of the stuff they've said about, you know, the dry patch, how it's not, like, FDA approved, how it can alter somebody's mind, like, there was some kind of condition, but there's something else they call, like, CPSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, something like that. Have been, like, some people from England have had it. It's like they've been in an emotionally abusive relationship and stuff like that. I mean, it's like, you know, some of those subjects they put in there, like, yeah, I can relate to it, but, like, it doesn't make up for the fact what happened. But, like, they've got a lot of support they've got a lot of hate mail, a lot of phone calls, a lot of, like, you know, stuff like that. I wish they never happened. But they, you know, they get some support, which is good. But on the phone, they still think, you know, there's a chance that I could get out.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to ever think your kid's going away forever. Like,
you
don't want to fathom that.
They tell me to fight it, like, you know, they don't die every day, but on their bad days, they'll get a bad message or a bad letter, and then they'll just kind of revert back.
Is it more your mom or your dad?
My mom. Yeah. She loses it a lot.
Yeah.
On the phone, my dad's usually trying to, you know, like, hey, don't talk about this stuff on the phone with him. Because it's just going to rile you up, and it's going to make him go back to his cell, and he's going to just kind of think about that all night.
Right.
And that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Would you ever want them to know what you're telling us today?
I'd rather just tell them myself.
Yeah.
So they're coming. I think they're going to try to make a visit in, like, May or so.
So they don't. Do they still think that Shanann killed the girls?
They still believe that, even though I told them I pled guilty for a reason. But they think that I was their words, like, railroaded by belief.
Yeah.
Because they, you know, they felt like they pressured me to do it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that? No.
They asked me plenty of times. This is like, you know, they wanted to fight. Like, if I said fight, they would have just, you know, gone and
put on their gloves.
Yeah, just went in there and did it. You know, it's like, no, I can't have you do that.
So, Chris, you care about others deeply. I can tell. You worry about others. And I've asked you, you know, a bunch of times today, but you're not just telling us that you did it because you feel bad for Shanann's memory. You did it? Okay.
I have to say, like, you know, after this was all over, you know, people would bring up, like, oh my gosh, I bet you're going to find out that Chris, used to torture animals and, all this stuff. You can imagine, like, hearing that someone's capable of that, what have they done in their past, those kinds of things. Can you think back to your past at all, like your childhood, and think about any other moments that maybe you felt this same rage? I mean, obviously didn't do anything like that, but maybe felt that rage and like what would have triggered that or anything like that?
Not really. I mean, I was always like somebody that tried to coax people down, not to, like, if somebody wanted to fight somebody else. I got in a fight like when I was in 3rd grade, but it was like, we ripped each other's shirt when we were crying. It was like stupid. I was like, why did I do that? And like maybe that was like my only like bad thing I did in school. So I can't think of it.
Did you feel it on the inside, whether you didn't act it out? Like, did you feel like if someone bullied you at school or if someone whatever, like, would it still be inside you? Like, did you feel like that even though you didn't actually act on it?
Probably, because I was always, I never really talked to many people. So people knew who I was, but they didn't really, I never really spoke to many people. That's why I never really had a girlfriend in high school. I was always kind of like, just fly under the radar.
Did you feel like you had low self-esteem?
I won't say low self-esteem. It was just like, I didn't want to be part of like a group or a clique. I just like, I had a couple friends, I sat at the lunch table with them, or sat out, they call it like the fish pond area, and, just chilled out there. I didn't really want a whole lot of friends, just kind of like just close-knit, and I just wasn't out there. I mean, like I said, people knew who I was, but it wasn't a matter of like I was popular or anything.
Can you attribute that to anything in your childhood? Why you were like
my
that?
sister was always the popular one. She was more like my mom, like more like outgoing, and like me and my grandma would always sit outside in middle school waiting for her to come out and pick her up, and she'd always be the last one out. She'd talk to everybody in the hallway. And my grandma would always like, where is she at? Does she know we're waiting? But, I was just the opposite of her. And I was like, sometimes you have kids that are like the same, and some you have opposite. Me and my sister were completely opposite. Maybe I just drew on that I didn't want to be the popular one. I wanted to be just, just a regular guy. So there was not really like bullying or not like I remember. Nobody ever really came up to me or wanted to fight me or.
Never got made fun of. Never.
Nah, I had braces and I had like a bowl cut for a while. I guess it could have made a bit fun.
I think most kids did.
The 80s and 90s were cruel.
Yeah, it's like the Jim Carrey cut with the bowl on your head. Just come around, but yeah, it was. I don't think there was anything that would be pent up inside me from childhood.
I know you talked about your dad having an addiction when I was talking to you.
That was after I left. I left home.
Was it cocaine or something? Or
it was some type of powder. I'm not sure if I guess it was cocaine. I guess
how do you think that affected you?
I don't think it affected me. Well, it did affect me, but it didn't like take like deep down. It didn't like really hurt as much as I thought it would. It was kind of weird because when my thing with my mom and my sister told me, like when they talked to him about it, it didn't seem to register. Like I said, like he would just change subject. And like when I talked about it, he immediately changed subject. I was like, because they found like, cuts on his like CDs and stuff where he would like, separate it and stuff like that. Because he at a car dealership, find guys that do that kind of stuff all the time, I guess. But he was just coping with like, I never came back home. And because before I met Shanann, and it was just.
Did you feel guilty that he's now using drugs because you never came back home, like he lost his kid?
I never really knew why he was doing it. After the fact, I knew it was because he was coping with that, but I never knew why he really actually turned to drugs. My mom thought he was having an affair because all this money was going somewhere else just for the drugs, but like I'm not myself, I never used drugs, so I always try to tell him like, hey, like what's going on? Like why you need to use this? And just like you could using this for a whole lot better things. Just don't throw your life away. Like because you could see in his face, like it's like eyes or like everything was getting like like the drugs through your face and like your skin was getting all loose and like he was losing a lot of weight. His nose was bleeding all the time and all kinds of stuff like that. And I was just telling him like, hey, you smoked like every day of your life since you were like 15 or 16. I can't get you to stop that, but I can get you to stop this.
Right.
And he put it away, I guess, pretty quick after I talked to him about it.
Do you think you were closer to your dad than your mom?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always went to races together, and he always trained my sports, played for a couple school sports, rec ball, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Mom would come through sometimes, but my dad was always there.
Always. Yeah.
Even if I wasn't playing, he'd just come there just in case I can't win in there.
Aww.
So that's cool.
Yeah. Well, I wondered if they hadn't visited because they weren't ready to visit, or if it was a money thing, or like
Visit here
getting
or,
the time off.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you like
Visit here?
Yeah, visit here.
Well, I just told him they can't drive in the snow, so it's kind of I don't want.
These roads are bad.
Yeah, it's I think it's like an hour from either Madison Airport, whichever way it is. I told him wait till springtime.
Good advice.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal.
It was yesterday.
Do they have money to get here?
They sold my toolbox to get some money to come out here.
Okay.
So yeah, so they'll come out here they said April, but I was like, no, just maybe push it till June. They say they can have a blizzard out here in April sometimes too.
The late spring blizzard,
So lake effect stuff is crazy.
Yeah. And how are you doing mentally?
I mean, the first time I didn't know I was coming here. Obviously, when I was at DRDC,
They swooped you up, didn't they?
I was there a week. First day I got there, they put me through the ringer. I had 11 tests to do, like mental tests, reading, math, all kinds of stuff to see where my IQ was, and then I just sat there the rest of the week. And then Sunday came along, and after dinner they said, "All right, strip down and put this on." I'm like, okay, and then walked outside and put me in the van. I'm just good. I had no idea what was going on. And then we stopped in Sterling, which really freaked me out. I was just I don't want to do this, because I heard so many horror stories about that place. And they just stopped using the bathroom, and then we kept going.
In the prison? Do they use the bathroom at the prison?
Yeah, it was at the watchtower outside.
Oh.
And we went into Nebraska, sheriff's office there, and then another sheriff's office in Iowa. Used the bathroom, eat breakfast, then got here. I asked him, I only talked to him once. I'm like, can you tell me, where we going? Just to Destination State? He's like, I don't know. So it was one of those transport vans, where it was had just the middle where I was sitting there, and I could see out the window, and I could see they would put in an address each time. They had 4 sets of addresses to each one they had to go to. They just would never tell me where we were going to end up.
What did they say your IQ was?
I was 140, 135 or something like that.
Is that high? I don't even know what.
That's good. That's above average.
Yeah, it was tipping me back to high school for real. I'm
Pain, particity, on all that stuff.
Yeah, there was a lot of word problems, a lot of geometry, a lot of patterns. If this was moved this way, and then it was a series of them. All right, what's this one going to be? Just a lot of stuff like that. But the further you got along, the harder it got. I was just it's great. And it was they give you this little take that pen and take the little tube out in the middle, and that's where you're using to fill in these little Scantron sheets and everything. I felt like I was in high school again.
Do you know how long you're going to be here? Neither do I, by the way. Do you know? Are you going to get a job?
If since I'm staying here, since I've got staffed here, you have to work.
Oh, so what's your job now?
I don't have one yet.
Okay.
They haven't moved me out of the acceptance and evaluation assessment and evaluation project.
You're still in that phase? Okay. And how long will that take?
Oh, right now, since I've been staffed here, I'm just waiting for them to move me over to a different unit.
And are you in Gen Pop right now?
No, I'm in a unit. There's 11 or 12 of us on there. There was 22 when I first got there, but they've been transferred to the other prisons around Wisconsin.
And what are the other guys like?
They're fine. The first time I sat out and ate a breakfast or lunch with them, I was scared.
You nervous, scared?
Yeah, I was just this hasn't happened since this never happened.
Yeah.
like I said, they locked the hallways down when I got moved to Colorado.
Well, I've heard that. Yeah.
So it was like, being next, like right like this, eating next to somebody, I was just like, is he gonna like take a spork and try to stab me or something, or what? But it's totally different here. I mean, people know who I am, but like they don't like run at me or jump at me or like. Apparently, the guys that work here, they know that I guess other maxes are like you lock down like 23, 22 hours a day.
Oh, so then this isn't all right place to be?
For like other
comparison?
max guys.
Good.
They said it's the best max but the worst medium.
Oh.
Because if you're max, you're working, so you're out at your cell working, like if you're a clerk or if you're in the kitchen or if you're in the rec area, you're doing something.
Okay.
But yeah, they said like if you get stabbed here, it'll be best for you. Plus, they say it's not as like rowdy as some of the other places.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty intense.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I'm going to the GP area. I just don't know when.
And you think it'll be while you're here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they said like I guess it could take it takes a while to get moved from max to medium because in Colorado I was classified as minimum restrictive, but with the charges it would have been medium. But here it's automatically max.
And what are the other guys in for? Do you know?
They said most guys in here are for like gang snitches and sex offenders and mainly people that have 20 years or more.
So people who were in for a long time and who would otherwise have a pretty hard time at a jail.
Yeah.
For whatever they did, whether it be snitching or
yeah, like
children or
or there's some people from other states here as well, and I guess there's a couple cops here too.
Okay.
Just things have happened, and they just don't think it'd be better. It'd be a lot better if they're here and not at another prison.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what kind of jobs are available? I mean,
Well, it's like they'll probably have me in the kitchen more than like that's where everybody starts out, like either washing dishes or like putting foods on the trays or helping pots and pans, something like that.
right.
But they have like libraries. They have like I think this is the PSU area, the psych area. So they'll have like different guys doing clerk stuff around here. I mean they have over like 300 GP guys here that are like live here. So they have a job for every one of them.
Wow.
There's even a guy that shovels the sidewalks.
I think we saw him.
Yeah, we saw him. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to be that guy.
Not here.
Do you go to therapy? Do you see a psychologist?
There's actually the one her name's like Javier or something like that. She seems like once a month. And she's actually from Aurora.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird. I walked in and I saw a Bronco flag. I'm like, okay, who are you? But yeah, it's.
So does she give you therapy, or?
No, she just like talks to me just to see if I need anything, or if like if I need psych meds, or if I need anything like that, which I've declined all that stuff. But most people in my unit have meds.
Just to have them, or do you think they need them?
Well, it's like a special management unit. Like they just put me on there to keep me away from GP, and like most people either like just have like some type of medication they're on.
But you don't take anything?
No, they just keep me on there until the security advisor says, he can get moved to GP down the hall.
What kind of stuff, like food and stuff, do you miss the most from the outside?
Food?
Yeah.
Well, I know from, my last time in North Carolina, Bojangles, that was really good. I don't know if you guys ever go to North Carolina or no?
Is that barbecue?
It's chicken and biscuits. And that barbecue place down the street from the PD. Forget what.
Smokehouse.
Yeah.
George Boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the burn ends. I miss that, and just I miss Dan's cooking. That's for sure. Like her spaghetti sauce and her fried pizza.
Yeah.
Fried pizza?
I don't think I've heard of that. What is that?
I've never heard of that.
So her mom has, or I think it was her mom, her grandmother on her mom's side had this this dough, homemade dough you can make, and just make up the dough, and she would make it up with Bella and Celeste sometimes, with like a little smaller one, but she would make the really big one. And then she would put it in the oven, the bottom oven, and let it sit there for a couple hours, not put it on or anything, just let it rise. And then once it's done, take it out, form it, throw the spaghetti sauce she has, and spread it around, and throw the mozzarella and pepperoni and put it on the oven 350 and.
But what part of it is fried though?
Well, they have some parts that you can put on the grill. You can put it on the stove too.
Okay.
It's really good. I mean, it's really thick.
Yeah.
So you got.
Apparently, we need this.
Yeah.
Sandy.
I will work on that.
Yes. Write a note.
Yeah.
Are you able to stay out of trouble here?
Yeah. No.
Nobody's getting any fights. You're not getting written up for anything. You're not getting. Okay.
I try to keep a low profile here, so I don't want to. Because they say if you get like 2 contact reports, they'll ship you out if you work here. They don't want
To another location?
Yeah.
Oh, so then does that incentivize people keeping their nose down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I guess a couple guys got busted for having a cell phone.
Oh.
How they got it in?
No kidding.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff just baffles my mind how that stuff gets to.
I mean, they won't even let, like, if somebody sends me a letter and it has, like, like, someone sent me a Christmas card with glitter on it. They'll let me have it because it's glitter. Because, like, it's contraband. So, like, yeah, I don't know how people get cell phones and stuff in here.
So, what do you do with all these letters that are coming into you?
Most of them, like, I just have, like, this. If somebody writes me once, I'll never write them. Just because I don't know, like, who they are, like, where they're from. I'll keep it. If it's like a weird letter, I'll straight up throw it away. If it's like a supportive letter, I'll keep it around, just like, a supportive letter. And then like I've had some people like write me like a second and third time, but they've changed the way they talk, or like they've said different things. Like there's like this dude in like California that wrote me. He's a senior in high school and wrote. He's like, okay, dude. I look at the name, like, okay, shred it up, threw it away. He wrote me again like 2 weeks ago. Totally different. Like, never mentioned like his age, never mentioned his setting. Like, hey, like I support you. I'm like all this, like that. Like, if I didn't recognize his name, I would have known like he was just an 18-year-old kid, senior, trying to just like probably just get information, trying to because there's been like journalists and like other people like you could kind of tell like they ask a lot of questions. But I try to like take into effect who's writing me and like just not to respond. Like, I've responded to a few people just because like either my parents have talked to them on the outside and then I kind of know, okay, it's a real person.
Oh.
But like there's some people that like it seems like they're just trying like to get help for themselves too. Like some people ask like like just for spiritual advice.
They're asking for spiritual advice from you.
Yeah, like if they're not asking about the case, I'll write them back. If they ask about the case, I don't write them back.
You think you'll be in love again? There's a lot of women out there that are in love with you.
No. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not the guy that's down the street or whatever it is. I've heard enough about that guy since I've been here.
What have you heard about him?
He got engaged over a letter.
He did, yeah.
That's pretty insane. But yeah, I don't see myself being in love ever again.
Do you have some ladies that are giving you a lot of, like, just telling you that they're in love with you and that kind of stuff?
Well, I've had a couple letters that have been like, I hear you get a lot of letters from lady friends that tell you all you need to know, and I'm like, I don't get those letters. Trust me. Like I guess there was one letter in Colorado, someone sent me a picture of them in a bikini, and then it's like went on from there. That was like the only letter I ever got. That was like that, but the press took it and just went with it.
Yeah.
Do you ever get requests from the press?
Mm-hmm.
And how does that work?
Just tear it up. Throw it away.
So are you personally are declining?
Well, I don't like write it back.
Would they allow you to talk with them? Would they allow men here to talk with you?
I don't know. I guess some stations have asked to come in here and talk to me, but they have told them no.
Oh.
But I've gotten letters from Denver stations and whatnot wanting to talk to me. Mm-hmm. And then quotation marks off the record. I'm like, yeah, right. Okay. Anything I write.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. So, yeah, I just tear it up, throw it away.
Have you thought about, like, writing a book or anything like that?
No, that's, nothing like that. My mom and dad have been, sorry, what was it?
No, go ahead.
My mom and dad are saying maybe you should, like, write down, like, how you feel or, like, how you've been dealing with this. type thing, just write it down, and that would be my story. But I'm just like, I'm not writing a book. That's not me. I mean, I've always had a really crazy imagination. So like when I was a kid, like I even convinced my teacher I went to Japan over the summer, or to China or something. But she said, you should just write down your story, like how you've coped with this.
Why did you convince your teacher you had gone to another country?
It was just like what you did over the summer, and I was like, it's China. And start writing. And she actually believed it. I was really convincing.
So you're a smart dude.
Yeah. It was, and my parent-teacher conference said, so how was China? What? Nope.
So earlier you were talking about how this experience you're going to want to help people. What do you mean by that?
So like this couple letters that I've gotten, like this one girl, she's in like an abusive relationship, and she just can't find a relationship like with God. And like I never read the Bible before all this. Like in Weld County, I read it because
right.
In the segregation hole there, it was like that was the only book I got. And I was like, okay. I read it cover to cover, and I never thought I could, being how many pages were in the Bible, but.
Right.
It stuck with me, and like I've been reading it more and more here. Like I got a different version here. I've just been reading it and just writing down like a couple scriptures a day, like to give my mom and dad. And they've been like making a little journal and stuff like that. And my Uncle Johnny and his wife Martha, they're actually missionaries, and one of my cousins is actually as well, and they've been helping my mom and dad. And they've been. They looked at a couple of my letters, and they were amazed at how mature I've gotten with like the Bible and everything, the Scripture and everything. Just like one gift that I did get was a good memory, as far as like being able to memorize stuff.
Right.
And like that's what happened with cars and with the oil field. I can just memorize acronyms like that, and I've been memorizing a lot of different Scripture. I can just kind of like help people that way. And just like there's been inmates that have left my unit and went to a different place and have written me just to ask, like, can you give me a couple of scriptures to help me through this? Like, do you know of any? I can help somebody that way.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you get to go to school or anything?
They don't have any else programs here.
Oh, they don't.
It's a evaluation prison, so they don't. I think this is when they have the sex offender class in here. That's the only thing they really have.
You gonna go to that?
No. No, I always ask, like, why do people go in there? And they're like, you don't want to go in that class. Like,
You stay away from that class.
I'm like, okay. Yeah, that's the only thing they have here. But they have other, like, that's like the map of the prisons they have here.
Yeah, I was looking at that earlier.
Oh, wow.
They have a lot here.
Yeah, like 3 right in this area.
Yep, they're right around here. I was just amazed that one thing I did see out the window when there was like a neighborhood that's right next to the prison.
Yeah.
So just like, is
I
that
felt the same thing.
Yeah, weird? Because like in Colorado, it seemed like they're all like out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
Right.
Sterling's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Easy.
Well, we might take a little break right now.
Well,
I think it's almost time for you to eat lunch.
Yeah.
Like 20 minutes.
yeah, felt like the polygraph. Everything just like. I look up the time. I'm like, oh wow.
It's been 4 hours. Holy cow.
They might let us come back and talk to you.
Okay.
There might be a couple more things you want to go over. Is that something you're up for?
That's fine.
Okay. And then the other thing is, we might be back in a month and a year and 2 years, if you're up for it. Now that's way down the road, but I guess maybe in the back of your mind, just think about that. And I hope so far today's been all right for you.
Yeah, it's been. Honestly, when I walked in, I was just like, wait, I know these
Where do I
people.
know these guys?
I looked at you. I'm like that's not the site counselor. That's oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
They're Colorado people.
Then let's pass that A&E sergeant. I was like, all right, who am I meeting? I go.
Yeah.
It's not the A&E sergeant.
Yeah. So there's a possibility we might not make it back today. I just want to let you know, but
Okay.
we might. We really appreciate you talking to us.
Thanks
Yeah.
for coming.
Yeah.
Total took me off guard. I had no idea. So that
Yeah.
was,
Yeah. And again, this isn't your case is over. It's closed. So that's not what today's about.
Correct.
But we really appreciate it. you did a lot of things really well, really good. You made a lot of good decisions. And obviously, we're here because of just one bad decision, but I think that you've taken steps to get past that. So yeah, we might come back after lunch if that's all right.
That's fine.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go see if I can grab somebody.
So airport you guys fly into?
Yeah,
I think I had the better drive.
I think you probably did too.
Mine was like 50 minutes. Ours was like 2 hours.
Yeah,
It was snowing. It's pretty
Lake
nasty out there.
effect.
Yeah, the wind's blowing.
Not like wind like Colorado then?
So it's a hell of a lot colder.
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, the roads aren't getting cleared like they would get cleared in Colorado. I think they just have so much.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
just
that-
comes in and just dumps.
yeah.
Colorado just melts within a couple hours
Right.
here. Just, honestly, I haven't seen it melt here since I got
Well, that's the thing. Everyone's
Yeah,
houses are
piles.
just piled. You know, like it's the next snow, and they just pile it on top. So it doesn't look like anything melts.
No.
Which is the problem. So
Yeah.
Okay.
do you guys go outside for rec or anything, or
No, not when it has to be over 50 degrees.
oh, so you won't be out for a while?
No, they have like a rec, like a little basketball court down the hall from where my unit is. So we get there about 5 days a week for like 40 minutes.
Nice.
So it's a good chance to just get out and just run around a little bit, just stretch your legs a little bit.
Yeah.
Any weights or anything you can use?
Yeah, there's some weights in there. We go with another unit, and they're it's the infirmary unit that goes with us, and most of them are like in wheelchairs and whatnot. So we're kind of like I just let them do. I don't want to get in their way. Just like let them they have like the pull downs and the lats and all that kind of road machine and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, but I think they have like a track or something like that you can run around. Once we go outside. Colorado, they let you go outside. Like, I never went outside, but like at the DRDC, they just said, "Do you want to go outside? Let you go outside. That's cold."
No thanks.
Buyer beware.
Like, hey, Chuck, you want to wreck today? You're like, no. Like, no, it's like 30 degrees outside. You can go outside if you want. It's like, okay. But their version of wreck was like they'll put you out in a little cage and let you like kind of walk around for a little bit
Yeah.
at DRDC. It was a little different there.
Hey, if we don't want to come back, I just want to let you know I talked to your dad the other day.
Okay.
And just to get your property released to him.
Oh, that phone and stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
your phone and what else?
Wallet.
Your wallet.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have some other things too. So, but I have to wait for the DA to release all that stuff and then
Okay.
red tape crap. So.
Gotcha.
But then we'll send it off to him.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he wanted my phone, just that there was
Yeah.
a lot of pictures on there.
That's what he said. Yeah.
I think I had that phone since like 2016, so there's a good amount on there.
Yeah.
And if we don't make it back today, it's going to be because of some of their scheduling. It's not that we don't want to talk to you some more.
It's fine.
There's more things we can talk about.
Okay.
But if we don't make it back, that's why.
Okay. Yeah, it's a holiday, so I figured they'd be pretty much open.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't see many people walking through the hallways when I came down here. Usually there's a ton.
Of visitors or what?
No, just a ton of people, just like workers walking up and down.
It seemed
I
pretty
see.
sparse.
Yeah, it did seem sparse, didn't it?
That's one thing I was shocked about when I walked around here. I was always used to seeing everybody in handcuffs walking around the hallways. Here, just walk up and down.
That is interesting, man. I thought the same thing. I couldn't tell who was who.
Yeah, it's like
You can't necessarily
you
tell.
You see the red tag, it's like an inmate, but it's somebody else. It's somebody who works here.
Oh.
Or like somebody that's like actual civilian that works here.
So then you're not in shackles and handcuffs that often?
I haven't been since I got here.
You're kidding.
That's why I was amazed. I was like, when the guy took me in the hallway, I was like, anything? No, just keep walking.
Yeah.
That's my psych conscious was saying. This isn't a max when she first got here. Like, no, it's just like max or something. They just like, if you want to act up, they'll
If you
put
want
you
to
in.
abuse it, you'll earn those shackles back.
Oh yeah, they'll put you in handcuffs, take you to the hole,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then they'll ship you out of here.
They have a solitary here?
Oh yeah, they'll strap you out to the bed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Jeez.
You can't move.
Yeah.
A reminder of, behave, right?
Yeah, it's like don't
Not that you need it,
don't
but-
pass food, don't pass anything that's not yours. Otherwise, you're gonna.
Do you get to buy like commissary and stuff?
It's different here. It's like a bubble sheet instead of like Colorado was like a little touch screen you can do. But here's like a little Scantron. You send it off to like Missouri. I mean, it's the same company, but it just takes longer to get here. Yeah, it's
Like what kind of stuff can you buy?
like ramen soup and peanut butter and oatmeal, like lemonade mix, stuff like that. I usually just get the oatmeal and the ramen soup.
Do your parents put money on your books then?
Yeah, I'm not sure how like that restitution stuff's gonna work. I'm sure like that'll like whoever sent me money on the canteen will probably like it'll take a little bit of it too.
Oh yeah.
It's right here.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye.